Listen to me, friend. I don't know where you're at today, but I know fear can hit like a freight train. Unexpected, relentless, and so loud. Maybe you're feeling the weight of fear in your heart right now. Maybe it's the fear of the unknown, or the fear that things won't ever get better. If that's you, just know you're not alone. You don't have to carry that weight by yourself. Now let me tell you this. The psalmist David was no stranger to fear. He faced battles, enemies, and moments that would shake anyone to their core. But in Psalm 27, David did something powerful. He prayed, and he leaned into the strength of God. In his own desperation, David cried out, "The Lord is my light and my salvation. Whom shall I fear?" Psalm 27, verse 1. Imagine that. In the middle of all the chaos, he stood firm in the knowledge that God was his light, his hope, his fortress. I want you to feel that truth deep in your bones today. Whatever you're afraid of right now, it's not bigger than the God who has your back. So stay with me. Let's walk through Psalm 27 together. Let's pray this out loud and face the fear that's been gripping us. You ready? Let's dive in. When we face fear, we often feel like we're standing in the dark. It's overwhelming, paralyzing, like we're stuck in a never-ending storm. But listen to what David says. "The Lord is my light and my salvation. Whom shall I fear?" Psalm 27, verse 1. Let that sink in for a second. The first thing David does when fear tries to take over is not to focus on the storm or his enemies, but to remind himself of who God is, his light, his salvation. David isn't saying that fear won't come, it will. But what he's declaring is that even in the midst of that fear, even when the shadows seem overwhelming, God's light is brighter. Fear can cloud our vision, make everything look impossible, but God is the one who shines through all that darkness. He's the one who pushes back the fear that wants to hold us captive. He's the one who's ready to show you the way. Let me ask you this. What would change if you started your day with the truth that God is your light? How much would your perspective shift if you let His salvation be the thing that drives your thoughts and actions instead of your fear? Maybe you've been holding on to fear like it's all you've got. But today we can release that grip and hold on to something stronger. Because with God, fear doesn't stand a chance. David's reminder here is like a sword in the face of fear. Every time fear whispers you can't do this, we can stand up and say no. The Lord is my light and my salvation. Whom shall I fear? Let that become your truth today. Speak it over your life and watch as the darkness begins to fade. Now let's be real. Life isn't always a calm, peaceful walk through the park. Sometimes it feels like we're in the middle of a battlefield. And fear? It loves to step up like a roaring lion, ready to pounce. But here's what David declares next in Psalm 27. The Lord is the stronghold of my life. Of whom shall I be afraid? Psalm 27, verse 1. A stronghold, my friend, is a fortress. It's a place of safety when everything around you seems to be falling apart. And that's exactly how David saw God. When everything else seems shaky, when fear is knocking down your door, God is that solid foundation beneath your feet. Have you ever felt like the ground beneath you might give way? Maybe your job feels unstable, or your health is uncertain, or the future is just so unclear. That's when we need to turn to God as our stronghold. David had every reason to be afraid. He was chased by enemies, hunted by those who wanted to destroy him. He knew what it felt like to be on the run, to feel the weight of fear press down on him. But in those moments, David didn't cower. He didn't fold under the pressure. Instead, he boldly proclaimed that God was his stronghold. He knew that no matter how fierce the battle got, God was the one who would stand by him. He was the shield, the refuge, the protector. Can you picture that in your life today? Whatever feels like a battle, whatever fear has been coming at you, imagine God standing in front of you, protecting you, shielding you from all the attacks that would come against you. Picture him as your fortress, your ultimate defense. When fear comes knocking, you don't have to face it alone. You have a stronghold in God. And with that, fear doesn't stand a chance. David wasn't just speaking empty words. He had seen God show up in his life before. When lions and bears came after his flock, God delivered him. When Goliath stood in front of him, taunting him with fear, God gave him the victory. And every time it was because God was his stronghold. That same God is your stronghold today. Whatever battle you're facing, he's already there, ready to protect you. You don't have to face your fear alone anymore. Let this truth sink deep into your spirit. The Lord is your stronghold, and when he's with you, fear has no place to stay. But wait, because this next part, this is where it gets real. Fear doesn't just disappear because we say a prayer or remind ourselves of God's strength. Fear knows how to sink its teeth in to make us feel small and powerless. So David takes it a step further. When evil men advance against me to devour my flesh, when my enemies and my foes attack me, they will stumble and fall. Psalm 27, verse 2. You see, David wasn't just pretending the fear wasn't there. He wasn't sugarcoating the reality that his enemies were coming for him. He knew fear had a grip on his life, but in the very next breath, he boldly declares that they will fall. And why? Because in the middle of all that chaos, he trusted in God's presence. This is the key. God's presence is our weapon. It's what shifts the entire atmosphere. There's something powerful about drawing near to God when fear is trying to strangle you. It's like when a soldier walks into battle and the strength of his army is right behind him. His confidence isn't in his own ability to fight, but in the power of his protector. David understood this. When the world was shaking around him, he didn't run to temporary comforts. He didn't rely on his own strength to get him through. Instead, he ran to God. He sought his presence with desperation. And guess what? That's exactly what we need to do too. When fear feels like it's choking the life out of us, we need to seek God's presence. He's our shelter, our refuge, the one who gives us the courage to stand tall. Now I want you to catch this. David's enemies didn't just stumble, they fell. This is a mighty declaration. He wasn't saying fear might lose some ground. No, he was saying that the very thing that caused him fear would ultimately be defeated. The thing that made him feel small would end up falling to the ground. God's power is that strong. And when we lean into his presence, fear loses its grip. It can't stand when God shows up. So let me ask you, what would it look like for you to stop running from fear and instead run toward God's presence? To let his strength surround you, to let him be the place where you find peace. I promise you, fear will lose its power in his presence. I want you to think about this for a second. What does it feel like when you've been wronged? When fear takes you to a place of vulnerability, or when the whole world seems to be conspiring against you? It's easy to feel like God's distant, like he's forgotten about you in the middle of your storm. That's when fear whispers, God won't come through for you this time. But look at what David says next. Though an army besiege me, my heart will not fear. Though war break out against me, even then will I be confident. Psalm 27, verse 3. David is declaring something that can only come from deep trust in God. Imagine an army surrounding you. Imagine the sound of enemy footsteps getting louder. Fear closing in from every side. And yet, David says that even in the midst of it all, his heart will not fear. How can anyone be that confident in the face of so much danger, so much chaos? It's because David knew something we all need to remember. God's faithfulness is not dependent on the circumstances we find ourselves in. David's trust in God wasn't based on his feelings or the temporary state of things. He wasn't saying that the war wouldn't come or that the fear would magically disappear. No, he was saying that despite the storm, despite the army at his gates, he could be confident in God's faithfulness to him. God had proven himself time and time again in David's life, and that was enough to trust him through anything. It's easy to look at our current fear and let it cloud our vision, isn't it? We start to feel like maybe this is it, that maybe this time God won't come through. But when we remember how God has been faithful in the past, when we reflect on the times He's carried us through the storms, we can stand with the same confidence that David did. Yes, fear is real. Yes, the battles are real. But God's faithfulness is even more real. It's the unshakable truth we can hold on to when everything else feels like it's crumbling. When David says his heart won't fear, he's not saying that he won't be afraid. He's saying that he will not let fear rule him. Instead, his confidence will be in God, the one who has always come through, the one who will not fail him now. And you too can stand with the same confidence. God's faithfulness is stronger than any fear that tries to take root in your life. When fear strikes, choose to trust God's promises over the lies fear tells you. Just like David, you can stand firm and say, "Though war break out against me, even then will I be confident." God is with you. Now, let's dive deeper into what David truly longed for in the midst of all his battles and fear. His heart wasn't set on just escaping the storm or finding a way out of his fear. No, David was after something more, something deeper. He said, "One thing I ask of the Lord, this is what I seek, that I may dwell in the house of the Lord all the days of my life, to gaze on the beauty of the Lord and to seek Him in His temple." Psalm 27, verse 4. Think about that. In the midst of an army coming at him, in the middle of every reason to run and hide, David's one desire was not for safety or comfort. It wasn't for the fear to go away. He wasn't looking for a miracle where everything would be fixed in an instant. What he wanted, what he truly longed for, was to be in the presence of God. Can you imagine that kind of desire? To want God's presence so badly that even when fear is knocking at your door, you seek nothing more than to be close to Him? David didn't want just a quick fix or a band-aid for his fear. He didn't want to run away from the battlefield. He wanted God, right there with him, through it all. His longing for God's presence was stronger than the pull of his fear. We can often get caught up in wanting immediate relief from our fears, can't we? We want that instant moment of peace, the easy solution that takes away all the anxiety. But David teaches us something so important here. Instead of running from fear, he ran toward God. He didn't beg for a solution, he sought God's face. To gaze on the beauty of the Lord, that's what he craved. This isn't just a request to be close to God for the sake of relief. David wasn't asking to be delivered from the battle immediately. He was asking to be in the presence of the one who could bring peace amidst the storm. The beauty of the Lord, the peace he offers, is not the absence of fear or chaos. It's the confidence that he is with us in the middle of it all. Now let me ask you this. In the middle of your fear, when everything is overwhelming, can you say the same thing? Can you say, God, I want your presence more than anything else? More than my fear being gone, more than the storm stopping. I'm not saying it's easy, but that kind of desire for God's presence, that kind of longing, is where real transformation happens. Fear doesn't stand a chance when we fix our eyes on God's beauty, on his presence. Because when we seek him above all else, we find that peace, that security, that fear cannot touch. David knew this secret. And when we seek God like he did, when we long for his presence above all else, fear will lose its grip on us. We might still face storms, but we'll face them with a peace that transcends understanding. The presence of God changes everything. You see, this isn't just a cute idea or a nice thought. There's real power in the presence of God. Power that drives out fear, that fortifies us in ways we can't even fully comprehend. David understood this more than anyone. As he continues in Psalm 27, he declares, "For in the day of trouble he will keep me safe in his dwelling. He will hide me in the shelter of his tabernacle and set me high upon a rock." Psalm 27, verse 5. Let that sink in. He will keep me safe in his dwelling. Imagine that kind of protection where you can rest completely, knowing that no matter how intense the storm gets, God's got you covered. The idea of being hidden in his shelter, safe and secure in the heart of God's presence, is more than just a metaphor. It's a promise. David wasn't just talking about physical safety either. He wasn't just saying that God would protect his body from harm, though God certainly does that. What David was really talking about here was the emotional and spiritual safety that only God can provide. Fear has a way of making us feel exposed, vulnerable, like we're standing naked in front of 1,000 critics. But in God's shelter, you are hidden. In his tabernacle, you are safe. And on that rock, you are secure. This is the beautiful paradox of our faith. When fear wants to show us every reason to run, God invites us to run to him. The shelter of God isn't just a physical place. It's a position of trust. It's when we choose to stay under his wings, knowing that he alone can protect our hearts from the weight of fear, from the crushing pressure of anxiety. David knew that no army, no enemy, no fear could ever defeat him when he was under God's protection. You might be facing a trial right now, or maybe fear has been taking its toll on you for months, years even. But hear me, in the shelter of God, you are safe. No matter how much fear tries to scream at you, it has no authority in God's presence. He's already set you high upon the rock where fear can't touch you. Now take a moment to think about that. God is offering you safety, a place to be hidden in him, and that place doesn't move. It doesn't change with the circumstances. That shelter is constant, unshakable, and available to you right now. No matter what you're facing today, you can run to that shelter. God is waiting to cover you, to protect you, to remind you that he is your refuge. When we're surrounded by fear, it's easy to feel like we're losing, like the weight of the world is just too much to bear. We focus so much on what's going wrong, what we don't have, or what might happen that we forget how much God has already done for us. But David, in the midst of his struggles, has a bold declaration. Then my head will be exalted above the enemies who surround me. At his tabernacle will I sacrifice with shouts of joy. I will sing and make music to the Lord. Psalm 27, verse 6. Did you catch that? David, in the middle of his enemies advancing, his heart full of fear, declares that his head will be exalted, lifted high above the very forces that are threatening him. And not only that, he's talking about worship. While fear is pressing in on him, David is already declaring victory and praising God as if the battle has already been won. That's the kind of faith David had. Not the kind that waits until everything is perfect, not the kind that only worships when there's no fear, no battle. David worshiped in the middle of it all. He praised God for the victory before it ever even manifested. He sang psalms of joy while the enemy was still encamped around him. That's the kind of confidence that comes when you know your victory is already secured in God. You see, fear tries to make us believe that we're fighting for victory, that we're striving to win. But with God, victory isn't something we're fighting to obtain. It's something we already have. David knew this, and he worshiped as a declaration of that truth. He didn't wait for everything to fall into place before he celebrated. He knew that no matter what happened, God was going to bring him through it. And that's where his joy came from. His worship was an act of faith, declaring the truth that God had already won the battle for him. So what about you? Are you waiting for fear to leave before you can worship? Are you holding back your joy until the storm passes? What would it look like if you started to praise in the middle of the fear, in the middle of the chaos? What if you began to declare victory before the battle was over? That's what David did. He looked at his enemies, at the fear that was rising up, and said, "No, you don't get to steal my joy. I know who my God is, and I'm going to worship him now because I know he's already won the victory." If you're feeling overwhelmed, start praising. Sing your victory song even when everything seems impossible. Because with God, fear doesn't win. He's already secured the victory, and the joy that comes from that truth can't be stolen, no matter how loud the enemy roars. Fear has no hold on you when you're standing in the victory God has already given you. Fear, my friend, has a way of isolating us. It makes us feel like we're all alone, like the weight of the world is resting on our shoulders, and no one understands what we're going through. But in the middle of that loneliness, look at what David does next. "Hear my voice when I call, Lord. Be merciful to me and answer me. My heart says of you, seek his face. Your face, Lord, I will seek." Psalm 27, verses 7 to 8. There's something so raw, so vulnerable about this cry. David isn't trying to be all put together or pretending that he has it all figured out. He's not hiding his fear. He's not masking his pain. He's saying, "God, I need you. I need you to hear me, to come to me, to show up right now." In the midst of the battle, in the middle of the fear, David doesn't hold back. He cries out for mercy. He cries out for an answer. What's so beautiful about this cry is that it shows us that we can bring our raw, messy emotions before God. We don't have to clean ourselves up or pretend that we've got it all under control. David's cry is one of desperation, but it's also one of deep trust. He's saying, "I need you, God. I don't know what to do, but I know that if I seek your face, everything will change." I want to ask you, are you bringing your fear to God like this? Are you crying out to him when it feels like you're sinking? Are you inviting him into the mess of your emotions? Or are you holding back, trying to carry it all by yourself? Fear makes us believe that we're a burden, that God won't want to hear our cries. But David shows us a different path. He runs toward God with his fear, his doubt, his pain. He calls out to God, fully confident that God will respond. There's a shift that happens when we stop hiding from our fear and start bringing it to God. When we cry out, we're no longer letting fear define us. Instead, we're letting our trust in God's ability to answer, to show up, to bring peace, redefine our situation. That's the power of bringing our fears to God, not just talking about them, but laying them at His feet and saying, I trust you. I believe that you will come through. God isn't distant or uninterested in your pain. He's not too busy for your cries. David knew this. He knew that God would hear him, and that made all the difference. So, no matter how heavy your heart feels right now, know that you can cry out to God with the same trust David had. Seek His face, and He will respond. Fear doesn't get to define your relationship with God. Your trust in Him does. And when you turn to Him in your fear, you're opening the door for Him to show up and change everything. When fear tightens its grip, it's so easy to feel lost, to wonder what the next step should be, or if we even have the strength to keep moving forward. Our minds race, and we feel like we're wandering in circles. But look at what David says in the very next verse. Do not hide your face from me. Do not turn your servant away in anger. You have been my helper. Do not reject me or forsake me, God, my Savior. Psalm 27, verse 9. David's cry here is deeply personal. It's not just a plea for help. It's a desperate call for guidance. He knows that without God's direction, he'll be lost. And so, he brings his fear and confusion before the Lord, saying, I need you to lead me, God. I need you to show me the way. David knew that God was his only hope, his guide, his helper, the one who could pull him out of the darkness when fear made everything feel hopeless. You might be in a place right now where the next move feels uncertain. Maybe fear has left you paralyzed, unsure of what to do next. But I want you to hold on to this. God has never left his people without a way forward. David's cry to God for guidance is something we can all relate to. We've all been there, facing uncertainty, not knowing what to do or where to turn. But what David does here is he remembers that God has been his helper before, and he will be again. Fear has a way of clouding our judgment, making us feel like we're walking in circles. But in God's presence, there's clarity, there's direction. When we seek God for guidance, we're inviting him to lead us through the fog of fear into the light of his truth. It's not always immediate, and it's not always easy, but God will show us the way. Think about it. When David cried out to God in fear, he didn't just ask for comfort. He didn't ask for God to fix everything immediately. He asked for God's presence and guidance. He was saying, lead me, God. Don't leave me here in this fear. Show me the next step, and I'll follow. And you can do the same thing today. When you face moments of fear and uncertainty, don't just ask for the storm to stop. Ask God to guide you through it. Ask him for the wisdom to know what to do next. He will never leave you without direction. His word is a lamp to our feet and a light to our path. Psalm 119:205. Even when the road seems unclear, he will show you the way. Fear can't control your steps when you're walking with God. He'll lead you, guide you, and protect you every step of the way. You know, sometimes the hardest part of facing our fears and seeking guidance is the waiting. We want answers right now, right? But God's timing isn't always ours. In Psalm 27, David shows us how to trust God's timing. Teach me your way, Lord. Lead me in a straight path because of my oppressors. Psalm 27, verse 11. David wasn't just asking for quick answers or a fast fix. He was asking God to teach him, to lead him step by step, even when the way forward wasn't immediately clear. I think that's where many of us struggle. We want the full picture. We want the roadmap with every twist and turn laid out. But God often gives us just enough light for the next step. And that requires patience, doesn't it? It requires us to trust that God knows the full journey, even when we can't see it. David's prayer here is one of deep trust. He's asking God to teach him his way. He's saying, God, I'm willing to wait. I'm willing to follow you even when I don't know exactly where you're leading me. There's something incredibly freeing about that kind of trust, knowing that God sees the full picture and that His timing is always perfect. We don't need to rush ahead. We just need to trust that God is leading us, even in the waiting. So today, as we walk through whatever decisions or fears you're facing, know that God is guiding you. You may not see the full path yet, but He will light your way. Trust His timing, even when it feels like you're standing still. The path will unfold exactly when it's meant to, and you'll have the wisdom to walk it. There are times when fear feels so overwhelming, it makes you want to shrink back, to run from the challenge or the situation you're facing. But here's something powerful David says in Psalm 27. Though my father and mother forsake me, the Lord will receive me. Psalm 27, verse 10. David, in all his battles, in all his moments of fear, knew that even if the people closest to him left, even if the ones he relied on weren't there, God would still be there for him. It's easy to fear rejection, to fear that we're alone in our struggles, but David found courage in knowing that God's protection and His presence never leave us. Maybe you've faced rejection or felt abandoned in your life. Maybe fear has grown in those empty spaces, but God promises that He will never forsake you. When everything feels like it's falling apart, when you feel like you're standing on shaky ground, know this: God is your refuge. His protection surrounds you. You don't have to face anything alone. David's confidence in God's protection is something we can all hold on to. You may feel like the world is against you, or like fear is closing in from all sides. But when you take refuge in God, you're not just hiding from fear. You're standing in the strength of the one who will never leave you. That kind of protection gives you the courage to face anything that comes your way. Today, as you pray and seek God, remember that He's your protector. He's the one who will never abandon you. Fear can't win when God is your refuge. There's something incredibly powerful about waiting on God. Not just waiting passively, but actively placing our hope and trust in Him. We live in a world that pushes us to act now, to move quickly, to solve problems immediately. But God often calls us to a different kind of patience. Psalm 27 gives us a glimpse of this in verse 14 when David says, "Wait for the Lord, be strong and take heart and wait for the Lord." I don't know about you, but patience isn't my strong suit. When fear creeps in, when uncertainty knocks at my door, I want to fix it. I want to know the answers right now. But what if waiting on God isn't about doing nothing? What if waiting is actually an act of strength? David's encouragement to be strong and take heart while waiting is a reminder that waiting doesn't mean we're passive or weak. It means we're placing our strength and our hope in the one who knows the beginning and the end. Waiting can be hard. It can feel like time is slipping away, like the situation is only getting worse, and we're stuck with no answers. But waiting on God, actively trusting Him, is not wasted time. It's during those waiting moments that God often refines us, strengthens our hearts, and teaches us lessons we would never learn in the rush of immediate action. When we wait on God, we're acknowledging that His timing is better than ours, that His plan is greater than anything we could dream up. David's words here are a call to embrace that kind of patient trust. It's not about waiting for the storm to pass, it's about waiting in the storm with a heart that believes God will show up when the time is right. Be strong and take heart. In other words, be courageous in the wait. Know that God is working in you, even when you can't see it. Patience is not a passive state. It's active trust. It's saying, I don't have all the answers right now, but I believe that God will provide them in His time, and that's enough for me. So as you walk through your fears today, remember that patience isn't about doing nothing. It's about waiting with confidence that God is working, even when we can't see the progress. You're not stuck in waiting. You're being strengthened, refined, and prepared for what's coming next. Trust the process, trust God's timing, and know that He's doing something in your life, even as you wait. One of the hardest things to face is the unknown, the things that are out of our control, the things we can't predict, the things that stir fear in our hearts because we have no idea how they'll unfold. But in Psalm 27, David shows us how to approach the unknown with courage and trust in God. He writes, I remain confident of this. I will see the goodness of the Lord in the land of the living. Psalm 27, verse 13. Notice what David says, I will see the goodness of the Lord. This is a declaration of faith in the midst of uncertainty. David is looking at his current situation, no guarantees, no clear path ahead, and still he says, I will see the goodness of the Lord. How? Because he trusted that even when the unknowns were overwhelming, God's goodness was still at work. David chose to focus on what he knew was true, that God is good, that His promises are true, and that His love never fails. Facing the unknown can be terrifying. It can feel like standing on the edge of a cliff, not knowing whether you'll soar or fall. But David shows us that when we know the goodness of God, we can face the unknown with confidence. Even when we don't know what tomorrow holds, we know that God's goodness will lead us through. What if we started approaching the unknown, not with fear, but with faith? What if we started saying, I don't know what will happen, but I know that God is good, and He will show me His goodness through this. That shift in perspective can make all the difference. So, as you face whatever feels unknown or uncertain in your life today, stand firm in this promise. You will see the goodness of the Lord. No matter how dark the situation, no matter how much you can't control, God is still good. He is still working for your good. Trust in that truth and let it give you the courage to face whatever lies ahead. You don't need to have all the answers. You just need to know that God is good and He will lead you through the unknown. As we wrap up our time in Psalm 27, I want to leave you with one final thought. Fear is a part of life, but it doesn't have to control us. David's journey, full of battles and enemies, wasn't easy, but through it all, he knew that God was with him, guiding him, protecting him, and giving him the courage to face whatever came his way. And this is what he boldly declares, "The Lord is my light and my salvation. Whom shall I fear?" Psalm 27, verse 1. Whatever fear is holding you back today, whatever battle you're facing, remember that God is your light and salvation. The darkness of fear may try to overwhelm you, but it has no power over you. God has already defeated the ultimate enemy, death itself. And if he can do that, he can absolutely handle whatever fear, anxiety, or challenge you're dealing with right now. David found peace in knowing that God was his light, his refuge, and his strength. You can find that same peace today. No matter what fears you're facing, no matter how deep the battle feels, remember that God is with you. You don't have to fight these battles alone. You don't have to carry the weight of fear or uncertainty by yourself. God is your strength. So, as we close this time of prayer, let's trust God to fight for us, to lead us, and to walk with us through every fear and every challenge. You're not alone in this, and with God on your side, you don't have to fear. There's something incredible about knowing that God is with us in the midst of our fears. It's not just the idea of Him being present, it's the truth that when He's with us, we are never truly alone. The psalmist David understood this better than most, which is why he could confidently say, "The Lord is my light and my salvation. Whom shall I fear? The Lord is the stronghold of my life. Of whom shall I be afraid?" Psalm 27, verse 1. Think about that for a moment. The Lord is the stronghold of my life. A stronghold is a fortress, a place of refuge, a place where you're protected from harm. And David isn't just saying that God offers protection in the physical sense, though he absolutely does. David is saying that God is a refuge for every part of his being. When his heart felt weak, God was his strength. When fear tried to take hold, God was his shield. When confusion clouded his thoughts, God was his clarity. And the beauty of this is that the same God who protected David in battle, who gave him courage when enemies were surrounding him, is the same God who walks with us today. He is your stronghold. Fear doesn't have the power to hold you back when God is your fortress. Whatever fear you're facing today, whether it's fear of failure, fear of the future, or fear of being alone, know that God's presence is enough. His presence brings peace where fear tries to overwhelm. His presence brings hope where despair wants to settle in. And His presence brings strength where weakness tries to take over. David knew something that we need to remember. Our strength doesn't come from our own ability to face fear, but from the God who stands beside us. So when fear tries to remind you of your weaknesses, remind it of God's strength. You don't have to face this battle on your own. God is with you, and He is your stronghold. There's a powerful truth we often forget when fear is weighing us down. God has promised to lead us. Not just once, not just when things are easy, but every single step of the way. David, in his own journey, cried out to God, "Lead me, Lord, in your righteousness because of my enemies. Make your way straight before me." Psalm 27, verse 11. David wasn't asking for a one-time solution. He was asking for God to guide him, to lead him moment by moment, step by step, through the fear and the uncertainty. He knew that in his own strength, he couldn't face his enemies. He knew that on his own, he would falter. But in God's strength, he could stand firm. And that's the same thing God offers to you today. We don't have to navigate this world alone. We don't have to try to find our way through the fog of fear by ourselves. God is offering to lead you through it. He is your guide, your shepherd, your protector. When you don't know which way to turn, He'll show you the way. When the path seems unclear, He will light your steps. Imagine walking through a dark forest at night with no flashlight, no map, and no sense of direction. It's terrifying, right? But then imagine that you have someone beside you who knows the way. Someone who can see everything clearly and is leading you step by step. That's what God promises to do for you. Today, as you face whatever fear you may be holding on to, ask God to lead you. Ask Him to show you the next step. Trust that He's not leaving you to wander alone, that He's walking with you through every fear, every decision, and every moment. Let His guidance be the peace that calms the storm inside you. One of the hardest things to do when fear tries to take hold is to pray with confidence. We often feel unsure or like we're not spiritual enough to pray boldly. But in Psalm 27, David shows us the kind of confidence we can have when we know who we're praying to. He boldly declares, "I remain confident of this. I will see the goodness of the Lord in the land of the living." Psalm 27, verse 13. David wasn't waiting for some distant future reality to see God's goodness. He wasn't saying, maybe one day I'll see God's goodness when I get to heaven. No, he was declaring with confidence that he would see God's goodness now, in the midst of his fears, in the land of the living. This is the kind of confidence we can have when we know the nature of our God. We don't have to doubt. We don't have to wonder if God's going to show up. We can pray confidently, knowing that His goodness is already at work in our lives. We may not see the whole picture, but we can trust that His goodness is being revealed, step by step. So today, when fear tries to cloud your prayers, push past the doubt and pray with confidence. God is good, and He's working in your life. Don't let fear rob you of the certainty that God is with you, guiding you and showing His goodness through it all. Boldly declare His goodness over your life, just as David did. In the final verse of Psalm 27, David gives us the ultimate assurance in the face of fear. He says, "Wait for the Lord, be strong and take heart, and wait for the Lord." Psalm 27, verse 14. This is not just a call to sit back and wait in passivity. This is a call to stand firm, to trust that God is working even when we can't see it, and to hold on to His promises until the deliverance comes. David's life was full of battles, enemies, and challenges. Yet, in the end, he didn't just give up or give in to fear. He waited with hope. He waited with courage, and he waited with the assurance that God would not leave him. In that waiting, he grew stronger. In that waiting, he grew more confident in God's ability to deliver. And friend, God is calling you to that same confidence today. Whatever you're facing, whatever fear is holding you back, don't let it take away your strength. Wait on the Lord, be strong, take heart, and know that God will deliver you in His perfect time. You are never alone. He will never leave you, and His deliverance is sure. As we wrap up this time of prayer, I want to leave you with one final thought. Fear may come, challenges will rise, but with God, we have everything we need to face it all. God is our light, our salvation, our stronghold. He is our guide, our protector, and our deliverer. Today, take heart. Walk with confidence in the truth that God is with you every step of the way. And when fear tries to rise up again, remember that you don't have to face it alone. You have a stronghold in God. You have a Savior who is right there beside you, ready to guide, protect, and give you the strength you need. If you found peace in this prayer and in the promises of Psalm 27, take a moment to subscribe and join us for more prayers like this. Share this with someone who needs encouragement today. And remember, God is your light and your salvation. Whom shall you fear? Keep trusting, keep walking, and keep praying with confidence. You're never alone.